Well, good afternoon folks, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lee, your virtual airline pilot, and I'm back with you again for the first of this week's two reviews. We're starting this week in Flight Simulator 2024. Where are we? We are in the Channel Islands, and this is Guernsey Airport in the Channel Islands, Echo Golf Juliet Bravo. This is a payware scenery for Flight Sim 2024 from RealVFR, recently released, and you're looking at version 1.0.1 for the PC version, Flight Simulator 2024 only. The download comes in at 897 meg and it installs at 1.41 gig, so it's a reasonable size, but there's quite a lot in this scenery. It's currently available from both SimMarket and RealVFR. You can also get it at flightsim.to. Best price I can find currently is on SimMarket, which comes in at €14, which equates to $16.57 US, or £12.14 UK. US and UK prices, as ever, are estimates taken from the euro, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which of course could vary depending on your country of purchase. SimMarket has the best price at the moment. Both flightsim.to and RealVFR both have it for sale at around £15 UK, but when you do the euro conversion from SimMarket, it comes out at just over £12, so that's the best price at the moment. This is an extensive scenery, quite a lot in it. And some of you will note that another developer has released Guernsey, and this is literally brand new. It literally comes out only literally a few days ago, and I'm lucky to get the chance to review it. So let's look at features then. Okay, so features. We have accurate terrain elevation, faithfully recreated slope taxiways, aprons and runway for a true-to-life airfield layout and feel, immersive custom night lighting, a beautifully crafted night environment including realistic approach lights and terminal lighting that enhances your dusk and nighttime operations. It says start your journey in style, 2 detailed hangars available as start points, perfect for both GA and commercial operations, fully modelled control tower interior, that would be a delight to see, includes custom night lighting for added realism and immersion from every angle. Extensive use of custom PBR textures and high quality PBR textures across buildings, surfaces and objects for maximum visual fidelity. You've got handcrafted 3D hedgerows, iconic Guernsey hedgerows recreated in 3D, adding depth and character to the surrounding scenery. For those of you who use GSX Pro, there is a GSX profile available on flightsim.to specifically for this scenery, and I'll put the link in the description below. So as you can see, quite a bit's been done there. These descriptions or features always seem to go a little bit overboard, but in this case, having looked around the scenery, it looks pretty extensive, so we'll have a look in a minute. So let's talk some history of this airport. Okay, history. So Guernsey Airport, Echo Golf Juliet Bravo, is a public use international airport on the island of Guernsey in the Channel Islands, and the largest airport in the bailiwick of Guernsey. It's located in an area known as the Forest, a parish in Guernsey, 2.9 miles or 4.6 kilometres southwest of St. Peter Port, and features mostly flights to Great Britain and some other European destinations. The airport officially opened on the 5th of May 1939, however regular air services only commenced in October 1946. By 1948, British European Airways, or BEA as it was then, were operating a daily service to Southampton using Douglas DC-3 aircraft. From 1951, Jersey Airlines flew the BEA Associate scheduled services to Southampton at the weekends using the Rapide, which was an 8-seat biplane. In 1960 there were 4 grass runways, and this same year saw the construction of a new tarmac runway measuring 4,800 feet or 1,463 metres. In the early 2000s, alongside the work on the new terminal, the States of Guernsey Commerce and Employment Department claimed an extension was necessary to allow the use of larger aircraft such as the Boeing 737 or the Airbus A320 family for trans-European flights. In 2012, a set of 4 two-day closures under the Airport 2040 programme allowed contractors for the States of Guernsey to resurface the existing runway, extend it, adding runway end safety areas, and also reconstruct parts of the concrete apron areas as well. Taxiways which connect the aprons to the runway were also resurfaced and realigned, whilst a new drainage system was installed. New airport ground lighting and navigation aids were also added. Work started on a new terminal building in 2002, which became operational on the 19th of April 2004. The old terminal was demolished in May 2004 to make space for additional aircraft stands and a passenger walkway from the new terminal. Ground handling is provided by Aurigny Aviation Services for Aurigny, Blue Islands and British Airways, while ASG, Aircraft Servicing Guernsey, and AIGLLE handle business and general aviation services. During the first decade of the century, 2 airlines competed on the most heavily used route from Guernsey, flying to and from London Gatwick Airport. During this period, Aurigny operated the ATR-72 turboprop aircraft, and Flybe operated BAE 146 Whisperjet aircraft. Runway and apron rebuilding operations were completed during 2014, and the state-owned airline Aurigny ordered an Embraer E195, which entered service in 2014. This 122C aircraft operated 4 rotations each day between Guernsey and Gatwick, and these were supplemented by up to 2 ATR-72 rotations. A growing number of proponents continue to argue that the runway should be extended to 5,578 feet, or 1,700 metres, to permit the more profitable operation of the Airbus A320 or Boeing 737 family of aircraft, as in the neighbouring island of Jersey. This would provide a wider range of flights in and out of the island, increasing the island's economy and the number of visitors each year. So there you go, that's some history for you. There have been some rebuilding and extensions. This is almost the sister island to Jersey, gets quite a lot of holiday traffic during the summer. So let's have a look at the runways here and see if the runway situation here in the scenery matches the charts. Okay, so runways. So here we are, I've lowered the lighting. It's now 7:45 in the evening local time. This video was done in September 2025. We're around about the middle of the month. And here we're looking down the throat of runway 09 at the moment. So, Guernsey Airport operates a single runway 0927, currently measuring 5,194 feet, or 1,583 metres. The airport lies at an elevation of 336 feet, or 102 metres, and sits within the GMT UTC time zone. Now, like the UK, Guernsey does indeed observe Daylight Saving Time, or DST, and with both Guernsey and the UK mainland still on summertime, the airport remains on the same time as the UK. So this runway 0927, both ends of this runway feature high-intensity runway lighting, high-intensity airfield lighting system, centerline lighting and precision approach path indicators on the left side. And looking down the runway, it looks like they've got it all, right down to the approach lighting, which is exactly the same as the approach lighting shown on the chart here. I'm looking at July 23, which is the latest Jefferson chart on Navigraph. PAPI's on the left, high-intensity lighting, and the centre line as well, and as you can see we've got taxiway lighting, so this is all correct at this end. So let's have a look at the other end, runway 27. So here we are looking at the other end. This is runway 27, and as you can see exactly the same. PAPI's on the left, high intensity lighting, the centre line is there, and again the approach lighting as per the chart, just the same as at the other end. And the runway is fully grooved. Okay, let's talk approaches, because the approaches exist at both ends of this runway. So you have a standard instrument landing system, an RNP approach option and a VOR approach option, and that's for both ends of this runway. So looking at the notes, you do get wind shear here and prolonged rainfall and downdrafts near the end of each runway end. So something you've got to watch out for most of the year, even in the summer. So there we are, the runway is exactly as it should be. It's as per the chart, so they've got it perfectly right. So no jetways at this airport, so let's have a look at the airport properly. Let's get back to the daytime and have a good look over the scenery and just see whether it matches up to the features. Okay, so welcome back. It's just after midday here. We're going to start at the very western end of the airfield, close to runway 09 threshold, which you can see there on the right. We'll start by looking at the taxiway and signage, which looks, to be honest, looks a lot more realistic than it does in flights in 2020. You can see we've got the runway markers and the taxiway signs here, all pretty good. We've also got wigwags, and here you can see the concrete textures are excellent, right down to the sort of scraping marks here in the runway markings. You've also got stoplights here, which I believe will probably activate during the darkness. We'll have a look at that. Here you can see we've got drainage covers in the grass. They did talk about a new drainage system being installed when we talked about the history. And again, you can see centerline lights there marked in the tarmac. So there you can see also blue airfield edge lights, and you can see more of those drainage covers there. Looking down the runway, you can see the slope as you look towards the end of the runway, so they've got that pretty accurate, which is quite impressive. So we'll take a little whiz back along the taxiway here. Here you can see the fence line to the left, back towards the main central area. Again, here you've got a taxiway exit, all properly marked, and they've got wigwags on that as well. Just slow down a little bit. So here you can see the fence line, foliage. There's a really nice big hangar there which you can use, and again you've got buildings here. Here's the fire station. You've got open areas, got a large fire truck there and a default one. Channel Islands Air Search and Rescue. Again, you've got wonderful ground signage and all the grass. Everything looks really nice here. So let's have a look at the control tower building while we are here. Some lovely fence line and building detail here. I mean, it looks really good. So there's the control tower. Objects just literally spluttering into view. The tower looks pretty good from the outside. Let's have a look in. So once again, a fully modelled control tower interior, but once again no controllers. Come on guys, when you go to this sort of level of detail, we've got no controllers. I can't believe it. So looking at the clock on the right hand side there, says 2:30. Well, it's not 2:30, so that obviously isn't matched to the simulator. Not that I expected it, it's not a problem at all. But when you've gone to this level of detail in the tower, guys, we need a controller. Come on now. So there's the building scene from the other side. And as you can see into the interior of the building. I don't know if it's fully modelled in there. We'll have a quick look. So we go across the fence there. You can see the airfield gate to the right there. Now the interior is there. And we can go inside. I mean, nothing more. You've got the interior modelling here. Which allows you to look in. I wonder what it'll look like in the darkness house. So let's have a quick look over the GA area and additional stands here. There you can see what looks like a Cirrus or a couple of Cirruses, I don't know, or DAs. Have a look at the signage here. This is ASG or IGNI Services. aircraft servicing, the handling. Nice to be able to see that up close and see that you can actually read it. And once again, Guernsey Executive Aircraft Handling along with a mobile phone number. Excellent. So here you've got an open hangar, all fully modelled along with the vehicle. An aeroplane, looks like a Jodel, I think that is. Complete with a UK registration, tools and all sorts. That's nice. That's excellent. And over here you've got a couple of private aircraft and a really nicely weathered hangar over there. Anglo-Normandy Aero Engineering Limited. Very nice. So we head back out to the taxiway. Once again, some nice ground marking along with the grass. It all looks quite real. It's just the texturing, the realism looks just slightly better in plates in 2024 than it does in 2020. Again, we've got some signage here, all sat on plinths into the grass. And once again, Taxiway Bravo 1 complete with WIGWAGS. Okay, continuing airside, let's have a look at the stand areas. So we're on stand 3. Airside looks okay, it really does. We have a little bit of a loss of there's no real people apart from that engineer down there on the left. There's my aircraft, the Phoenix Airbus A320. And we're on stand 3. The roads look pretty good. There you can see you've got stairs. Stairs for both ends. And here we are looking at the rest of the stands there. And again, you've got the airside fence. And it looks as though the stanchions are pointing the wrong way. We'll have a look in a minute. But once again, lots of good modelling here. Lots of weathering, texturing on the buildings. And you've got various bits and pieces of ground clutter. But it looks good. There's a lot been added, as you can see. DHL SERVICEAIR cargo. As you can see, I'm getting a few jumps and judders here. Not really sure why. But yeah, it looks good. The detail is excellent. It's very nice. And it continues off airport as well. You look at the other side of the fence. You've got various buildings all local to this airport. And it's very nice. So we're getting lots of jumps and judders, and I'm not really sure why. Well, you look at the hedgerows there. These are the hedgerows they talked about in the features. And there you can see the approach light system. So back to the airfield. There you can see airfield H, emergency gates and road signage. I mean, they've done a lot here. The detail is lovely. I'm not really quite sure why we're getting bumps and stuff like this. But visually I've got no real complaints. It's very nice. Okay, so first of all, we're inside the flight deck, parked on stand 3. This is the Airbus A320 Phoenix. This is the view you'll get looking out at the parking when you park up here during the daytime. But there's a view from the captain's window and looking out through the first officer's window. So a couple of close-up shots of the ramp. As you can see, plenty of clutter, everything looks pretty much okay. There you can see the terminal, Guernsey Airport written on it, along with a crest as well here, which is really nice. Don't know why I'm getting all the sound blurries, really kind of weird. There's a quick look down the airside road and in the other direction. So as you can see from this shot, airside, certainly on the ground floor, the building is modelled, but we've got no interior development, no seats, shops, passengers or anything like that. And there you can see through the upper level, once again, no airside development at all. So just a quick daytime shot across the ramp here, and there you are. That's the view you will get. That's what it all looks like, and it looks great. No complaints at all. Okay, let's have a look from landside. Got a couple of cars buried in the ground there, but generally it looks okay. Got Mercedes-Benz there. So the cars they've got there, they're in the slots by the looks of it. Here's the little thing that you will see when you come up to the airport. And there once again you can see into landside. No internal development, which is probably reflected in the price, to be honest. Everything else looks great. Again, we've got extensive car park and cars pretty much in their slots, all except for this one here in front of us. But as you can see, great ground weathering. The textures in the ground looks really good here. So a little bit further landside, we head up to the airport entrance and have a look at some of these hedgerows and landside roads, which looks, to be honest, they look fine. Very nicely done. So here's the actual entrance into the airport, just here. Got a church steeple over there. It looks very picturesque. Very nice indeed. So here's the Mercedes building, and as you can see, once again, we've got a couple of cars that are slightly buried in the concrete. There's a close-up of the Mercedes building. And here's the other end. There's a view of the terminal from landside. And here you've got this little monolith or creation sculpture that sits landside. And finally, just a quick look at the terminal. As you can see, the internal area is modelled, but there's no interior development. This airport, I mean, to be honest, is ripe for development since they've got the building. Okay, so that was a quick tour around the airport during the daytime. Let's turn the lighting down to dusk now. Okay, so it's just before 7:45 in the evening. As I've said, it's mid-September 2025. And here we are. Lights started coming on about 6 minutes ago. Once again, in Flight Sim 2024, you have graduated lighting which comes on as the time changes, rather than just lights that simply switch on. So here you can see we've got plenty of lighting. We've also got what appears to be some Sobo glows floating around, which is a pity because they've got proper lighting, and there's no need for these. But maybe it's just a case where they can't remove them, or they're not skilled enough to know how to do that yet. Airside, the ramp lighting looks extensive. It's very, very nice. Here you've got green centerline lights to help you taxi around. No real complaints at all about that. There you can see the WIGWAGS going as well below, and you've got lighting on various bits and pieces around the airport perimeter. There, looking in the direction of runway 09, you can see the sun is beginning to set. And looking almost due west, where the sun has dipped below the horizon. So once again, here's a view from the flight deck at dusk. Lighting, no complaints about the lighting. It looks very, very nice. There's no real problem at all. It's a pity we haven't got any development in the terminal. It's ripe for it, to be honest. It wouldn't take a lot to develop this properly, so you get a really nice view as you pull up. It's going to look a bit weird with GSX. You've got passengers coming out of a terminal that has no infrastructure, so that will be a little bit weird, I think. Once again, view from the captain's side and looking through the first officer's window. So a couple of close-up shots of the stand. Once again, you've got this little facility here where they put this wire, basically cutting off any passenger accidental access to the engine area. It's a nice feature. Actually, I've seen it used quite a lot. And here you've got the only problem where you've got the default stairwell that's in the scenery is conflicting with GSX's stuff. So it would be nice if they had an option maybe to turn this off for GSX users. Doesn't appear to be a problem at the rear. Of course, you've got the rear stairs here, and again you've got lighting on the stairs, which is really nice. And just a view down the airside road, which looks really good. I mean, to be honest, I really have no idea why we're getting sound hiccups here. I don't know. Really, I can't answer that one, I'm afraid. And as you can see, the building interior looks great. It's ripe for development. It really needs to be developed. And just looking in this direction, as I say, I think they need to sort this out. Maybe just move this a little bit further back in the safe area, since it's just a static piece of scenery, which would allow the GSX facilities to work without going through this. So there's the fire station and the control tower. Oh, it's a control tower, sorry. Let's go out and have a look at signage here. Okay, and the WIGWAGS are great, and I do like this ability in Flight Sim 2024 where you get the lighting is almost orb-like. It just looks pretty real. There on the other side you can see rotating radar. There's a control tower complete with the mandatory red lights on the top. Looks quite nice. Let's see if it's lit inside. And indeed it is. I mean, that's nice. That's really good. It's just crying out for at least one controller here. Just a little look at the fire station. Looks okay. A couple of downlights there. Not an awful lot in terms of lighting there. Here's the Guernsey AEROCLUB, and you've got lighting inside here, which looks to be a bit overdone, to be honest. This is really brash lighting, needs to be toned down a bit. Couple of cars there, one stuck in the side of the hill. But all in all, this looks nice. Again, it would benefit from a couple of people. Nice open hangar. If you fly GA or helicopters, you can certainly park them in there. So let's cross over the runway, just have a look at the north side. There you can see the ILS equipment to the right. Here's the radar dome. Again, mandatory red lighting on the top, which is a requirement. Very nice. That's probably one of the most detailed radar facilities or installations I've seen in the scenery. But then this is Flight Sim 2024, so it's really good. Once again, everything looks pretty nice off airport here. I mean, the buildings look real. Very impressive. So just a quick tour across some of the buildings here on the north side of the airport. We've got this green light here, and just wondering what it is. It looks like possibly that looks like I don't know, it looks like a farm, a little, you know, a greenhouse of sorts. I think that's just a spurious green light there, unfortunately. So here we've got the landside road, got the approach lighting there, and here we cross over This looks really nice. Just a dusk tour of the main apron going west. I mean, it looks good. I mean, that terminal was crying out for some development, to be honest. It's just my opinion, of course. Very nice indeed. Okay, so let's have a little look landside. As you can see, there are what appear to be plenty of these little globes floating around. They really need to be removed because you've got plenty of light. And once again, landside is also crying out for a bit more development. It looks a bit like a ghost town, to be honest, when all the rest just looks so good. They just, you know, at the moment it would appear they haven't really utilised as much of the 2024 features as they probably could. Okay, so that was a brief tour at dusk. Let's take it down to night time now and see what we're presented with here. Okay, 10 PM local time, and as you can see, it's now the dead of night. And looking at this high-level shot, both airside and landside look perfectly acceptable. Some very nice lighting. The only complaint I have, like I said, is you've got these globes floating around. When, to be honest, you've got lighting capabilities here that already should sort this out. So some of these globes really need to be removed. They're very distracting to anybody who's examined scenery over a course of a time. You know, it does get a bit distracting, especially if you're going to have a close look at what's, you know, you like to explore the scenery as well as just fly into the place, or at least I do. And they need to manage some of these things. But it looks good. The airport itself looks good. It fits in well with the terrain. It's a nice product. In the scenery, it's a nice product. What they've done is good. There are some anomalies they need to sort out. This sound issue, I don't know what's causing that. I've not had it in any scenery in 2024. This is my third 2024 review. The other two sceneries didn't have this issue, and to be honest, they were more detailed. So they need to maybe revisit the sound issue. The terminal is crying out for development, landside and airside. It wouldn't take much to make it look so much more. But no, nighttime looks good. Once again, a view from the flight deck, and again, this is where development of the terminal would just make such a difference. To see a few passengers seated and airline staff and stuff going around here. Once again, the captain's side and the first officer's window. So a couple of quick shots close up here airside where you'll park. This is what it all looks like. They really need to reposition this stairwell here. There we are looking east across the rest of the stands. And here's the DHL facility on the far east of the place. And here's the AIGLLE building. I hope I pronounced that right. I probably haven't. So here's a close-up look at the approach to runway 27. You've got the red lighting there, the stop bars, the WIGWAGS, and the green and blue lighting. All looks really impressive. No complaints there. So once again, we'll do a quick tour across airside. There's the tower. And you can see that hangar there with the GA apron is also lit inside. We'll pass over the landside. There's the hangar again, the GA hangar. And as you can see, lots of Asobo globes floating around that, to be honest, really need to be removed, in my opinion. But it's nice. It is really nice. So that was a tour at night time. Let's bring the dawn up now and have a look and see what it looks like. Okay, 7 AM local time, and I've got the sun coming up behind me, and this is what it looks like at dawn when you look west across the ramp. I really am a bit disturbed with this sound issue. I don't know why it is. So there's the threshold of runway 27. You got those buildings in the distance. And there's the sun rising in the east. All looks really, really nice. Okay, it's an hour later, time to wrap up this review. So what do I think? Okay, first off the pros. It's a lovely scenery, it's been nicely done. Loads of texturing, the ground markings are excellent. Flying in and out of here is going to be pretty realistic. The hedgerows are lovely. If you want to explore up airport, the 2024 scenery certainly matches up really well. You can get a helicopter here and go fly around the island and enjoy yourself, or a light aircraft. The navigational aids and runways are exactly as per the charts. That's really good. And overall, the darkness hours, the lighting's really, really good. Lots of subtleness, and yeah, everything you need as a pilot and everything that you might want to explore, it's been very nicely modelled. So let's look at the cons. Okay, control tower has been wonderfully modelled, but you're no controllers. It needs a controller in there. You really can't say that a control tower has been fully modelled when it doesn't have a controller. It's just my opinion, of course. The lighting, too many Asobo globes floating around landside. As I said, I don't know if the developer is skilled enough to know how to remove them. That may be the issue. And if that's the case, well, you know, at some point they'll find out how to do it. But it would be nice to see them removed. Also, I think whoever did this really needs to just go back and revisit the scenery in terms of quality control. Got a number of vehicles sinking into the concrete, and one or two vehicles into the side of the hillside. Some lighting that really should be around is missing. The fire station's not really very well lit. Could be a lot better in my opinion. And probably the biggest thing of all is the terminal. You know, that the structure is modelled, but there's nothing inside. I would like to see the terminal fully developed and modelled. And again, landside, a couple of people, a couple of taxis, vehicles. It's not going to make a lot of difference to the frame rate. Although, having said that, we have a noise issue. We've got a sound issue here. Like I said, this is my third Flight Sim 2024 scenery, and I've had no sound issues or anything like that so far. So I don't know why I'm getting this. But they probably need to have a look at that and see if any other of their testers have reported a similar issue. But yeah, modelling of the terminal a little bit more and development of it would be a big improvement in my opinion. Certainly when you park up there where I am and you look out through the cockpit window to see people, and development of a terminal in front of you really just enhances the realism. Price wise, well, I mean, you could argue that's probably reflected in the price. So you're only looking at €14 here. That includes tax at 20%, by the way. Some of you countries where you are, the 20% is a lot less, your tax is less, so that's going to be a bit cheaper. So you could argue the price is about right for what they've done, and to be honest, I agree, it is. But these days, Flight Sim 2024 gives us so many options to improve a scenery and make it more realistic. And so, in my humble opinion, you know, terminals, landside and airside, you know, development is a must if you're going to make it look more real. And it would appear that there are plenty of tools around, both freeware as well. Plenty of tool libraries that you could use that won't affect the frame rate, but just to add to the ambience of the place. So I'd like to see that fixed. I'd like to see some work done on the terminal. This is version 1.01, so maybe they have fixed one or two things from version 1. I'd like to see a version 2 or a version 1.5 where they've had a good look at what they've got here. But kudos for getting the runway and navigational aids all right. Airside looks good as well. I mean, the concrete and the markings and the weathering, I've got no complaints. It's a lovely airport. Is it worth the price? Yeah, I think it is. And as I said, Sim Market's the place to go if you want to get the best price. But yeah, it's certainly worth it. but I certainly believe that there's more that can be done with this. Really is more that can be done with this scenery. Whether it's the best one, I don't know. There's a couple of freewares, I believe, certainly at least one on flightsim.to. I don't know how much better that might be. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think, whether this is worth it or whether it's something that you might be interested in. I hope the reviews helped, if you're thinking about it but not entirely sure. I like it, I'm glad I bought it, and I did buy it, I wasn't given it. Yeah, once I get going at some point, be nice to fly in here and see just how it works out. Hopefully the sound issue won't be an issue anymore, we'll see. So there you are, folks, it's Guernsey Airport in the Channel Islands, Echo Golf Juliet Bravo, a payware scenery from RealVFR, version 1.01 currently for the PC version of FlightSim 2024 only. Download comes in at 897 meg, and it installs at 1.41 gigs. You can get it from SimMarket, RealVFR's own website, and from flightsim.to. Currently I found the best price, which includes tax by the way, on SimMarket. €14, which equates to roughly $16.57 US, or £12.14 UK. As ever, UK and US prices are estimates taken from that euro figure, and they include tax or VAT at 20%, which could vary depending on which country you're in when you make your purchase. I think it's a nice scenery. The whole island, to be honest, looks really good, and the airport fits in well. But there's more to be done here, I think, really, to make this into something special. So there you are, folks. Thank you for watching. I hope the review has helped you if you're thinking about this. And yeah, another review to come this week, this time in 2020. We'll be looking at AIRSIDE Airport in Malaysia by ShadeScene, a company called ShadeScene. I've reviewed their products before. We'll be trying to get that in before the end of the week and see what that looks like. So my name's Lee. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel and my efforts to try and have a good look at things for you, the customer who's going to spend their hard-earned money. So thanks again, guys. Take care. Have a good flights. Fly safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.